How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to WWE Headlines, part number 2, right here on No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast, your Canadian wrestling podcast that talks about the WWE and no holds barred on anything we say, pun intended. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at No Holds Barred WP. You can follow myself at Real Kyle Masters, and you can follow my co-host at Corporate Cappy. You can follow us on Instagram as well, No Holds Barred WP, all one word. You can find us on there. If you want to listen to this podcast on the go, Spreaker, iTunes, and Stitcher Radio. Spreaker is a fantastic and glorious podcast app. That is a free app and is available for all Android and Apple devices. It allows you to chat with us when we are live on the air, and you can listen to all previous episodes of the podcast. If you want to watch any video versions of the podcast, we have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/NHBWR. It's where you can find 2K content, unboxings, and like I just said, any video versions of the podcast. Hit that subscribe button, that bell icon for all upload updates. I'm your host of the WWE Headlines, the self-proclaimed greatest host, Kyle Masters. And guys, welcome to part number 2. If you missed part number 1, it is live everywhere on Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. Is where we talk about the upcoming WWE dual-branded pay-per-views. It was a rumor yesterday when I reported it. Now is confirmed today by WWE that it is for sure going to happen. They also released the pay-per-view schedule, which I'll go over in today's show. I'm going to save that for the end of the show. And I also go over when the WWE draft is likely to happen, and there's some more news at the end of the show. So part 1 is live on the channel right now, guys, so go check that out. Part number 2 solely is going to be around the Elimination Chamber, any news and rumors that I found about the Elimination Chamber for the Raw, basically Raw's last exclusive pay-per-view until we go into the dual brand. So I got some news around that. I also got some other news that we'll go over after that. So not a lot, but just some. I'm hoping there's a lot more so we can do a part 3 tomorrow, but thank you guys for tuning in to WWE Headlines, a new formatted one where I split it up into 3 parts if there's enough news for that. If not, I can just do 2 parts or maybe even just 1. So thank you guys for tuning in again. Update on the YouTube 2K series I've been talking to you guys about, WWE main event. I'm still trying to find a date next week where I'll be going YouTube Live. I'm doing a lot more editing to the file. And it's going to look good, guys. I'm trying to get this right for you guys, and so stay tuned for that. Look out for a tweet on the No Holds Barred WP account. Like I said, guys, today's all surrounding the Elimination Chamber. And as for the dual-branded pay-per-views, I guess we'll just talk about it now and what the schedule they've released today about the dual-brand pay-per-view. It looks shorter. I mean, I like the way it looks. You look at it on the screen, and you're like, okay, so it's simpler. It's literally one pay-per-view per month, and then it's weird because you're not going to get the other. It's weird, so like they've taken out what was that pay-per-view called? Great Balls of Fire, so that's gone. No Mercy's gone. I'm trying to think of other ones that were in there. Roadblock's not there. Fastlane, well, we don't know until next year. But as a schedule starting at WrestleMania 34 and on for dual brand pay-per-views, April 8th is WrestleMania 34, obviously. Backlash is May 6th, and then we're not getting the next pay-per-view until June 17th, so a month and like a half. So this is one thing I love. If they're going to do this dual branded pay-per-view, you're going to need to have multiple weeks in between to build storylines. So this could be a blessing in disguise, so let's not shit all over this just yet. We'll have to see how it plays out. But Money in the Bank is June 17th. That'll be a dual-branded one, so I'm assuming 2 main event Money in the Bank ladder matches with 2 women's ones. I'm not sure how that's going to happen, or maybe they just do like 2 Money in the Bank matches where it's 3 from Raw, 3 from SmackDown. You know what I mean? I'm thinking that's probably the direction they're going to go, so we'll have to see what happens with that. Extreme Rules is July 15th, so usually Extreme Rules is usually in the May June area, but it's moved all the way to July this year, and that's usually where Battleground is usually at. So Extreme Rules July 15th, so a month basically from the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and a month from there on August 19th we have SummerSlam, obviously one of the big 4s. Hell in a Cell is basically a month later on September 16th, so that's weird. Usually that's in the October time slot for Hell in a Cell. TLC is now in October 21st. And then Survivor Series is November 18th. And then Clash of Champions, which is usually the September pay-per-view, is now in December, on December 16th. I know I think it was just this past December was Clash of Champions. But anyways, that is the pay-per-view schedule after WrestleMania 34. So Backlash in May, Money in the Bank in June, Extreme Rules in July, SummerSlam August, Hell in a Cell September, TLC October, Survivor Series November, and Clash of Champions in December. We'll have to see what goes forward starting the Royal Rumble next year. I'm assuming they're probably going to do, obviously, the Royal Rumble in January. I'm going to say they're going to do Elimination Chamber in February and then Fastlane in March. So that's just my guess, unless they're going to bring back another pay-per-view and get rid of Fastlane. I think so. Fastlane just has a track record of being completely garbage. Like, I don't think anyone could sit here and tell me one of the greatest Fastlane matches ever, because literally they've been all shit. So we'll see what happens when that time comes around. But that is your official schedule for the announcement of the dual-branded pay-per-views going forward. And there's a lot of mixed reactions I've read on Twitter so far. So we're just going to have to see how it plays out. I'm not going to give my initial reaction to it just yet. You guys heard what I had to say about it yesterday. If I could put anything more on it, I'll probably save it for maybe part 3 tomorrow, or maybe a week from now when I've let it process a little bit. And maybe we get details on Raw and SmackDown. Maybe we get a little bit more details out of that. So we'll see what happens with that. Other than that, let's get into the news about the Elimination Chamber. First bit of news, I have Ronda Rousey appearing at the pay-per-view and reasons why. So we all know that Ronda Rousey is scheduled to be at the pay-per-view. So Kurt Angle announced on Raw this week that Ronda Rousey will be appearing at the upcoming Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. This will be the official contract signing for her Monday Night Raw contract. We have a possible reason to share about why WWE is putting Ronda on the show. And this is a news article brought to you by our boys IWNerd.com, one of the sources that I look to for WWE sources on WWE News and Rumors. I do have my other sources as well, but I love their content. They keep it simple, and their Twitter is easy to navigate around, guys, so go check them out. According to the Ringside News, the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view has only sold around 8,000 tickets. This isn't good considering the venue actually holds 18,000 people. So they've only sold 8,000 tickets, so like a quarter. I don't know if that's not half. That's almost half. Literally, it's not less than half the tickets have been sold for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. That is completely sad, and that's like a big pay-per-view. Think about it. Like, the Elimination Chamber match used to be awesome, and I think this is the problem with having Elimination Chamber every year. It gets dry and it's not exciting anymore. It was awesome back in the day when, like, Eric Bischoff introduced it, and we didn't get it every year, and they brought it back every so now and then. I think that's what they should do, even with the Hell in a Cell match. It's just overdone. That's why I don't like the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view when it comes around. It's too gimmicky, and it doesn't feel right. So this is probably one of the reasons why, and because the product is just completely shit. I mean, we all know that. If you don't agree with me, then you literally have your head under a rock and you don't know what's going on right now, because the main roster product is absolutely trash. You look at it compared to NXT and 205 Live now, for that matter, it's night and day. I cannot wait for Hunter and Triple H to take over the reins of the main roster, and you guys will be able to see the night and day difference. Anyways, according to Ronda Rousey, Ronda being announced to appear will more likely help move some extra tickets for the show. I highly doubt that. It will also help WWE pick up some mainstream buzz in the road to WrestleMania. That's the one thing now. They're always about this mainstream media attention. That's why you're hearing about Ronda Rousey coming here and being the mainstream attention for Stephanie to get her name out there. Stephanie, your last name is going to get you out there regardless. Your last name is McMahon. Everyone, if you don't watch wrestling, knows who Vince McMahon is. So relax, honey. And they want to go with this mainstream attention, like you're hearing Rob Gronkowski. WWE's trying to get Rob Gronkowski to come over here and get like a Ronda Rousey type deal. It's just, to me, it's too much. WWE is already huge. It doesn't need that much mainstream attention, but they always try to push the envelope. And to me, it's like they push it so much that they're forgetting about the actual product they're putting on TV, and they're not giving us anything that's been worth watching. Now they're wondering why they only sold 8,000 tickets for an 18,000-seat arena, and we're already almost close to the Elimination Chamber. So you wonder why WWE? Well, it's fucking written right there. What can I say? It sounds like WWE will be starting to use Ronda Rousey's WrestleMania 34 storyline on that show. The latest rumors suggest that it will likely be something involving Stephanie McMahon. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. Wait and see. We know it's going to be Stephanie McMahon. Ronda's not going one-on-one with any superstar anytime soon. I'm guessing SummerSlam will probably be her first one-on-one match because she's full-time, but she's actually part-time. Speaking of Ronda Rousey and WrestleMania 34, one of the biggest rumors that you have probably heard now has to do with Ronda Rousey and her match at WrestleMania 34. The rumor mill suggests that it could be seeing Ronda and a partner face off against Triple H instead of McMahon. If you want my honest opinion, it is what it is, but I don't care about this match. I would gladly go and take a bathroom break for this match because, to me, it should have been Triple H one-on-one against Kurt Angle. This tag team match is just literally one of those nostalgia matches. You remember like Sting and Triple H back at 31, 32 with The Rock coming back and Rock bottoming Eric Rowan in 7 seconds. And then last year, I can't remember, I guess you can call it Goldberg because that match wasn't really a match. It was 4 minutes, but it is what it is. So it is. I'm thinking that just if they're going to go this route, it's just one of those matches where I really don't care if I see it live or not, even though I'm going to be there live, and Corporate Cappy and me are going to be there live at WrestleMania 34. I rather have just had it Triple H one-on-one with Kurt Angle. I think that's what we should have done. It makes WrestleMania that much bigger. To me, this tag team crap should have been just saved for a pay-per-view or like a other pay-per-view, not WrestleMania. Anyways, a new report suggests 4 names who are being considered for the role of Ronda's partner. Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated reports the following names in order of WWE's preference. So, number 1, they want The Rock. That's going to be tough to do with his contract with the Hollywood right now. And I heard there's something to do with insurance and Hollywood doesn't want to sign an insurance waiver to have The Rock go in case he gets hurt. The studio gets reimbursed because I guess the last time this happened when he wrestled John Cena at 29, he actually hurt himself, and then that actually slowed the production of his movie Hercules. And I guess that cost the studio. Apparently it cost the studio like millions of dollars each day they missed filming set. So I highly doubt it costs millions of dollars. Maybe it's high amount of money, but I highly doubt it costs millions of dollars each day he missed to film that movie, and it really didn't turn out great anyway. So number 2 is Kurt Angle. I can see Kurt Angle. If they're not going to do one-on-one Triple H and Kurt Angle, I can see Ronda picking Kurt Angle here. There's already beef with Kurt Angle and Stephanie from the past, and Kurt's judgment calls, and then they can bring back the whole thing when Triple H first came back and announced himself into the Survivor Series team. There's a history there that's set if they want to go in that direction. Number 3 is weird. It's Shane McMahon. I don't know how I feel about that. That's kind of weird, and I know you're tying in the brands here, but there's nothing that's been set for this to happen. You can't just automatically start this after Elimination Chamber and build a 3-week build with Shane automatically coming over and being Ronda's partner while he's got his beef with Daniel Bryan at the same time, which is supposed to conclude at WrestleMania, but now all signs are pointing that this is really just something that's happening with no payoff, which is completely useless. And then you wonder why I complain that the main roster is garbage. It is what it is. Seth Rollins is number 4. I could see a Seth Rollins, too, if they have nothing planned for him for WrestleMania. It really sucks because they had him going up against Jason Jordan, but with the current rumors that Jason Jordan won't be at WrestleMania, and I'm reading reports that he will be at WrestleMania, and this is just a work, and he's just done for a couple of weeks. Who knows, man? But if Seth Rollins is chosen, you know what? It makes sense. They got the history between Triple H and Seth Rollins, but do we really want to see Triple H and Seth Rollins go at it again? I know it's a tag team match. It's a little bit different, but we just seen this. We don't need to see it again. So I'd love The Rock, but I guess it's what Hollywood's going with. But Kurt Angle makes the most sense out of all 4 in my eyes. With pertaining to those 4 people, The Rock would be an ideal partner, but is unlikely due to his busy Hollywood schedule. The report says that Angle is the second option if The Rock isn't available. Shane McMahon, Seth Rollins are also named. It says WWE could easily write a storyline involving Shane beefing with his sister and also his brother-in-law. It just doesn't, to me, there's no point, because if he's doing all this thing with Daniel Bryan, it's like they just make us forget in like a week's notice, and it just, to me, it doesn't make any sense. Anyways, let's move on from that. Speculation on the Raw tag team titles at Elimination Chamber. Yes, a lot of people are wondering what the hell is going on with the Raw tag team championships. There's been some teases on WWE's Twitter account. This is a author's note, so this is not news. This is what a author from IW Nerd is writing. He says, one of the questions that we still have for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view is what will the Raw Tag Team Championship title match be like? With only a few weeks to go before the event, Sheamus and Cesaro don't have a scheduled match. They were feuding with Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins, but it is now finished. The only other teams that have really been featured over the past few weeks are the Revival and the Balor. I was going to say Bullet Club. The Balor Club. Technically Bullet Club, but Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. They have been trading wins between one another. The rumor is both will be involved in the Raw Tag Team title match. Speculation is that WWE will do Sheamus and Cesaro versus the Revival versus Gallows and Anderson in a triple threat tag team match for the titles at Elimination Chamber. Of course, because with if you guys watched the show yesterday, or part 1 yesterday, WWE is pushing all these multi-man matches to get people excited for these dual-branded pay-per-views. I don't know what that really doesn't make sense in my eyes, but to me, more and more multi-man matches are just too much, and it's just a cluster. There's also, in this report, that there's also a slight chance that Titus Worldwide will be added because of the prior win against the Bar. I really don't see that happening. I don't see Titus Worldwide being added to this tag team title match. I would just be even more of a cluster if they did a fatal 4-way. How I would do it, I would do Revival and Balor Club maybe like the week before, or maybe this Monday Night Raw, have a number 1 contenders match. They've already traded wins with each other, have a rubber match to determine who the better team is, and the winner becomes the number 1 contenders for the tag team titles. You can have the Bar sitting at ringside or on commentary watching this match, and then you can start the feud from there. That's what I would do. I would not do a triple threat match, triple threat tag team match for the titles. I know the Revival deserves to be in there to get them more of a boost in the tag team division, so I'd still be okay if they went that direction. To me, I think they should just do a number 1 contenders match, and I actually would give it to the Balor Club. I think this is a much-needed boost for them since getting the Club and Finn Balor together once again. Next, how Sasha and Bayley should be booked heading towards the Elimination Chambers. This is another editor's note, and that's why I picked it. I love these editor notes because a lot of them have some really good insight and really good predictions, and some of them actually come true. So I'm going to read them to you guys, and I'll still give you my thoughts after. Tension has been building in the relationship between Sasha Banks and Bayley over the past few weeks. Bayley was able to defeat Sasha on Raw this past week. After the match, Bayley and Sasha stared down in the middle of the ring before being taken out by Nia Jax. So where is the storyline heading? Speculation says that their feud might have an initial start point in the Elimination Chamber. So let's speculate on how this might go down. So this is the editor's thought. His initial thought was that Bayley is going to eliminate Sasha from the Elimination Chamber as a way to pay her back for the Royal Rumble elimination. If you guys remember, Sasha Banks eliminated Bayley at the Royal Rumble. There's a kind of like a brief stare down between the two. But with the recent win with Bayley over Sasha on Raw this past week, he thinks that it will change. He is going to speculate that Sasha will officially turn heel at the Elimination Chamber. We have seen some teases over the last couple of weeks of Sasha turning heel. I'm all for Sasha turning heel because I would love a Sasha heel turn. I think the boss Sasha is the best one. The babyface one doesn't work for me. I know Bayley could use something right now with her just sliding down the ladder, but Sasha is more of a better heel in my eyes. The editor says that she will turn on Bayley during the Chamber match, which will lead to Bayley's elimination. If Sasha wins the title, you can do heel Sasha versus Bayley for the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania 34. Now, this is what I originally booked for WrestleMania 34, was Sasha versus Bayley for the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania 34. I think that makes more sense. And like the editor says, to me, it sounds better than the rumored Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss match. I really don't want to see Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax go at WrestleMania. To me, it just doesn't feel like a WrestleMania-style match, especially for the Raw Women's Championship. Sasha and Bayley would just put up a better WrestleMania-type match. You know, the history between those two, they can do a lot with this storyline by building off that and going back in their history. I think it's a long time coming, these two having a title match at WrestleMania. So we saw how good their TakeOver match was at Brooklyn TakeOver 1. They can just have as good of a match at WrestleMania. Or it says you can do Sasha Banks versus Alexa for the title of WrestleMania. Now that would be a good match as well, either or, Bayley, Sasha, or Sasha, Alexa, and save the Bayley-Sasha feud for something months down the road. They can also wait for SummerSlam for that and retrace their steps from TakeOver Brooklyn. The key here would be for Sasha to win the title and hold on to it for a decent amount of time. No more quick title reigns. Let her have successful defenses. I 100% agree with that because if you're going to build Sasha Banks to be one of the greatest women of all time, because you know she's heading that direction. She's one of those types of superstars, and I agree with it. You got to have her defend that title. You can't have her just lose it every time she gets it, because that's not going to be good for her track record down the line. You need to make her at least defend it a few times, and especially against a Bayley and an Alexa. That'd be huge in her case. And with the rumors of her going to SmackDown, who knows? I hope they stay in this direction. I really don't want her to go to SmackDown. Sasha, I think, belongs on Raw. She needs to be the face of that Raw Women's division. So I would love to see that. So no matter what, I would say Sasha Banks walks out of the Elimination Chamber as the champion. Alexa, unfortunately, would lose it. Or if Alexa ends up winning it, they set up Alexa versus Sasha Banks at WrestleMania, and then Sasha Banks can finally have her WrestleMania moment and win the title of WrestleMania that she should have had at WrestleMania 32. So I got some more news here. So that's it about the Elimination Chamber. As seen on Tuesday's edition of this has to do with 205 Live. Mark Andrews, if you guys don't remember, he was in the UK Championship tournament last year. Had a really good showing. I thought he had a really good showing then. He actually had a good showing this week when he debuted on 205 Live, defeating Akira Tozawa in the Cruiserweight title tournament. It is now being reported that Mark Andrews has officially signed a contract with 205 Live and has been added to the official roster and will be used on the show regularly going forward. So good for Mark Andrews. I think this is huge for the 205 Live division. It's definitely a big boost. It looks like this division is just going to get bigger and bigger. I'm hearing rumors that Leo Rush might actually join 205 Live. I'm hoping some news breaks out tomorrow so I can put it on part 3. But the 205 Live is definitely getting a big overhaul right now with Triple H taking the reins of it. So excited for 205 Live. Maybe we'll start reviewing it. Maybe we'll add it to the NXT review. Who knows? But Mark Andrews officially signed on for 205 Live. That is a big signing. Some more news here, and it's about Paul Heyman. Dave Meltzer speculates about the future of Paul Heyman in the latest issue of the Wrestling Observer newsletter and mentioned that being a mouthpiece for Ronda Rousey could be an option if Brock Lesnar does decide to leave the company once his contract expires this year. I think that would be cool. Ronda Rousey definitely, I think, maybe needs a mouthpiece unless she can talk on her own. We'll see how she plays in a WWE heel role and how good her mic skills are. Hopefully she's worked on that. If not, I think it'd be perfect to put Paul Heyman on a girl like that. I think it would definitely be a big boost for her and get her that to be credible in the women's division as that beast, be like the Brock Lesnar of the women's division. So, however, in this article it says, with the direction that they are going with Rousey, wouldn't make much sense creatively as she's expected to be involved extensively with Stephanie McMahon, whether as an opponent or even as a heel allied with her. WWE would have to make several key changes here to make it work. I don't think so. I think you can still do that. You can still have Paul Heyman manage Ronda Rousey, and you can still have her tied in with Stephanie like an authority role. You can have them all tied together. You can have the new authority in the women's division. Have that storyline. We never had that kind of storyline in the women's division. Add that to the storyline for the Raw Women's division. I think it'd be pretty cool. I mean, you have the mouthpiece of Paul Heyman with her. So I know it's more like Paul Heyman's the leader, the voice of like the lone wolf kind of guy in the room, but I think you should put these two together. If Brock does decide to walk away with all the rumors of him going to the UFC, we'll see what happens. Another idea could be for Heyman to team with Roman Reigns and turn heel after WrestleMania, though Meltzer doesn't believe that is likely to happen. I don't think so either. If they're going to turn Roman heel, it would have been done by now. I highly doubt there's these big plans to have Roman Reigns turn heel. They're going to force feed him down our throats. They still see him as the face of the company for whatever freaking reason. He's not, but if you agree out there, it is what it is. That's your opinion. It is what it is, but Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman, do not ever attempt that. That'd be the worst thing in the world. So the above remains to be seen. Lesnar's contract is expected to expire at some time around WrestleMania, but he has a clause in his current contract that could see him until August if he decides not to re-sign. So, again, it's one of those things we're just going to have to see and wait what happens. Excuse me, I got to take a water. Anyways. Next news. Dave Meltzer discussed Triple H taking over 205 Live. The 205 Live brand on the latest installment of the Wrestling Observer Live, and mentioned that Enzo Amore's termination from the company influenced Vince McMahon's decision to hand the keys over to Triple H to run the division. So it's basically saying Enzo's termination from the company influenced Vince McMahon to give 205 Live to Triple H. That is freaking weird. So this is a quote from Dave Meltzer. If Enzo wouldn't have gotten fired, we wouldn't have had this. Vince wouldn't have given it up. Vince giving it up and Enzo getting fired were not coincidental. That's something. Meltzer explained that it was Vince's idea to have the show centered around Enzo. Well, no shit. But also featured comedy and technical matches. It was doomed for failure from the start. Yeah, anyone could have told you that, Vince. Quote from Dave Meltzer: "This is a kind of show. This kind of show happened with Enzo because Enzo was the star of the show, and you can't have a serious wrestling show built around technical matches and great wrestlers, and Enzo being the focal point of the show. That just doesn't mix. So Enzo getting fired changes the face of this." So yes, I do agree with that, but I think it's a good change. We see what Triple H can do with NXT. If he does the same with 205 Live, I'm all for all the changes they're doing to 205 Live. I mean, half the people don't even stay and watch it after SmackDown anyways. They go to these casual Centralville, USA places, and no one stays behind. They have like half the fans sitting there, man. That's why I still say to this day, I don't care if they're taking a pay cut or they're getting paid a different wage, 205 Live needs to be a Full Sail University. They would appreciate it more. It would be a different atmosphere, and they can do better television. They can do tapings. It doesn't have to be live every week. I know it's called 205 Live, but they can do tapings and stuff like that. They can do live shows there if they wanted to. So I think the crowd would just appreciate it more, and we get better television and better crowd reactions for the Cruiserweight, because they definitely deserve it. The stuff they do in the ring is outstanding, and you've seen this week on 205 Live when some of the moves Mark Andrews was doing, and there's like zero reaction from the crowd because they have fucking no idea who Mark Andrews is. They're casual people. They don't watch anything. They just watch Raw and SmackDown. They don't watch anything else. So it is what it is. I got some funny news with Hulk Hogan and the Bullet Club. This is funny. I found this and I was like, okay, that's kind of funny. We previously reported there were plans a few months back for Hulk Hogan to join the Bullet Club, but the deal ended up falling through because Hogan wanted too much money, and there was also feeling that Hogan would leave New Japan Pro Wrestling hanging once he got the call from Vince McMahon to return to the WWE, which never happened, so that probably wouldn't have happened, or most likely would have happened. According to Justin Barrasso of the Sports Illustrated, Hogan wanted, now this is an exact quote, I think this is the right amount, don't quote me, it might be wrong, it might be just rumors, but apparently he wanted $750,000. Yes, that's $750,000 just to appear at Wrestle Kingdom and be an honorary member of the Bullet Clubs. Not be involved in the match or any of the matches at Wrestle Kingdom 12, just be part of the entrance and be an honorary member of the Bullet Club. He wanted $750,000. Hulk Hogan, are you high? No way would any company pay you. I don't care what you come from and how nostalgic you are or what you've done for the wrestling business. They would not pay you that much just to appear as the Bullet Club member. That is beyond crazy. I can't believe he asked that. There's a quote from that article. When Hogan's camp named its price, which Sports Illustrated learned it was $750,000, New Japan officials declined the offer. I could only imagine that they declined the offer right away. They probably laughed and said, "Ha, you're crazy. Have a nice day, Hulk Hogan." What a joke. I can't believe he wanted $750,000 just to appear with the Bullet Club and be an honorary member of the Bullet Club. Can you imagine like Hogan Club or Brother Club shirts or Hulkamania Club shirts? I can already see it. Oh, man. I hope it doesn't happen. It never happens. But other than that, guys, that is it for the news. I don't have any more news for today. Hopefully more news comes out. I'm hoping, I've seen some today that's starting to come out, so hopefully we'll get a part 3 for tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. I'll announce tomorrow if there is going to be a part 3. So thank you for tuning in to part number 2 of WWE Headlines, guys, right here on No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast, your Canadian wrestling podcast that talks about the WWE and No Holds Barred on anything we say, pun intended. You can follow the podcast again on Twitter at No Holds Barred WP. You can follow myself at Real Kyle Masters. And you can follow my co-host at Corporate Cappy on Twitter as well. You follow us on Instagram, No Holds Barred WP. You can listen to us on the go on Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and Spreaker. Spreaker is a glorious and it's free podcast app that's available for all Android and Apple devices, and you can chat with us live on the air when we are live. and you can listen to all of previous episodes of the podcast. If you want to watch any video versions of the podcast, youtube.com/NHBWR. Hit that subscribe button, that bell icon for all upload updates. You can find 2K content, you can find unboxings, and you can find all video versions of podcasts located on there as well. I'm your host of WWE Headlines, your self-proclaimed greatest host, Kyle Masters, and I will see you next time.